Alrighty guys, hello and welcome back to the show. So we have a cast going down on the cards for you all today. I love this little warning that shows up that says please tell Cookie Noob if you find any errors or blame Blue Owl. So tell Cookie Noob if you find any errors, but just throw some hate Blue Owl's way as well because it's his fault too, but he can't fix anything about it. Anyway, going down on Adaptive Pyramid. I've been here several times before, so aptly named by this pyramid that is in the middle of the map. It was definitely built by the aliens, either that or Cookie Noob. So maybe that means that Cookie Noob is an alien. Conspiracy theory? I think not. So 5v5 map. There's a good amount of reclaim on this map. A lot of it's centered around this little pyramid here in the middle. And let's go ahead and introduce our players. We're going to call this Team 1 up at the top, Team 2 down at the bottom, as is customary. We'll start with the rear guard air position first. We have INGI, who's going UEF opening first air on his way to a hydro. To his west, we have Fueled by Fire, who is probably got one of the coolest names. I don't know, really rolls off the tongue. He's going UEF and opening first land. Incidentally, in like my second ladder match ever, I had just come off of watching a Guile cast with Fueled by Fire in it, and I loaded into the game. This is like 2 years ago, but I loaded into the game as like a negative 100 level player on the ladder, and I saw that he was my opponent, and I had just seen him in Guile, and I was like, okay, well, if he can make Guile cast, he can definitely destroy me. And this was back whenever the game used to bug out a good amount on lagging, and he had a loading bug in Control Cade, so I picked up like 400 points. It was great. Moving to the south, though, we've got Penetrator, who's going Aeon, opening first and second land. To his east, we have Legalize Smurfing. Well, I think we all have some opinions on that one. Going UEF, going first land, second air. In the center, more eco position, we have Claude Le Lizard, who's going Cybran, opening first land and second air. Let's flip to team number 2. Start with the rear guard air position, who I actually don't see as commander because he's already on the way to the middle. What a good rear guard air position. We have 2 Cinders, who is going UEF, and he opened first land and going second air with the transport on the way. Nearly to the middle, grabbing some reclaim, we've got Donnie, actually not grabbing reclaim, grabbing a Mex. He is going Cybran, opening first, second, and third land. To the west, we have Big Bang, seen him on the channel a couple times. Going Seraphim, opening first land, second air. In kind of the middle eco something position, already on a T2 Mex upgrade, and he has that power generator adjacency, so he's going to be benefiting from some of that power savings. We have Trident the Pedo, and I'm not going to finish that for fear of monetization banning. And last but not least, we have Wasteman, who's going Seraphim, opening first, second, and third land, it would appear. I think that's a land factory. Yep, that is a land factory. And Wasteman actually wasted me a couple of days ago. I was playing and thought I could overcharge like 4 T2 point defense with my commander. Surprise, surprise, you can't. In case any of y'all were wondering, that was one of the more dumb plays that I think I made. But we ended up winning the game, which was great. So, shifting our attention to the middle, we've got Penetrator as well as Claude Le Lizard, scooping up some of that juicy reclaim with 2 Cinders and Donnie a little bit behind. Donnie seems to be focusing on getting these Mexes instead of the reclaim right off the bat. Different approaches, different strokes for different folks. And we do have a bomber out as well from Big Bang that is harassing Fueled by Fire's position. Looks like we had an engineer go down there. Second engineer barely escapes with his life. See if the bomber gets a second pass there and is able to take him out. Fueled by Fire seems to be dodging quite aggressively. He's not dodging with this guy, though. Poor Joe. Joe ends up giving his life for the cause. That bomber has got, I think, 2 kills. Yep, 2 engineers to its name. Third one coming soon to a theater near you. Ba-boom. And Fueled by Fire is not going to be super happy with that. It's pretty rough losing this many engineers that early in the game, and he's probably going to lose a second one, or a fourth one right there. But in the middle, we have 2 Cinders playing very aggressively, walking in on Penetrator's commander. Penetrator does have several Auroras in support, as well as a couple of Spirit Land Scouts, and I believe if anything is going to make or break this fight, it's going to be these Land Scouts. And unfortunately, the heroes of the engagement are the first to go down to that Mantis. Bomber coming in over the top, and now 2 Cinders needs to be pretty careful here because we have Claude the Lizard as well as Penetrator, 2 comms versus 1, and he's eating a ton of Aurora fire at the same time. Is able to get his Mantis involved. He's gonna have to sacrifice his T1 army, I think, but that's enough to buy that little play by, I believe that was Donnie, able to buy 2 Cinders, enough time to get off the front line. 2 Cinders down to under 3k HP, only 5 minutes into the game. And now it is Donnie's turn to feel the wrath of the essentially glass cannon T1 unit, as well as 2 commanders. Claude's taking a little bit of a battering himself, down to about 7,500 HP. He's now eating Mantis fire. Oh, he's grabbing some of that reclaim in the middle. And down at the bottom, wow, we have T2 on the air already. Legalized smurfing. That was a very quick T2 air upgrade. And I think this might just be Wasteman getting wasted here. I don't even see any... Okay, so we have a handful of interceptors from Big Bang, but I don't think Wasteman makes it out of this one alive. That has got to be one of the fastest T2 gunship rushes I think I've ever seen. And he's doing the... He doesn't want to waste all his gunships, so he's doing the cheeky thing, leaving 2 to tickle Wasteman down. 1 static AA is not going to save him, and that is going to be our first ejection from the game. It's 6 minutes in. Answers down in the comments, but that has got to be one of the quickest T2 air rushes I think I've ever seen. He's, of course, sacrificed all T1 land production to get there, so I guess it makes sense, and it paid off for him. Full share is on, as we do have Big Bang as the lucky beneficiary of the bottom half of the map. Gun range now coming in from Penetrator. 2 Cinders seemingly both surprised and unhappy that full share as the game settings. Never quite understood this. You can see the settings before you X up. Nevertheless, though, voicing his displeasure as Big Bang has secured the northern corner, but is still having to deal with these gunships down here. A couple of MAA. They're only Tech 1. It's not going to be enough to deal with this many T2 gunships, as well as the interceptors from IGNI that are covering them. INGI. INGI. I wonder what that stands for. International Gang of Interceptors? I don't know. There's a lot of not safe for work ways that you could take that, so I'll leave it up to y'all's imagination. As Donnie now moving T1 spam to go hit Fueled by Fire. And thinking better of it. There's not really anything you hear in Fueled by Fire's base that could really pose a huge threat. I mean, there's the commander, but there's no point defense, at least not yet. Triad now going down. As multiple T2 land production, in play for multiple players. We do have Penetrator with some blazes on the field up in the front, and then we've got Fueled by Fire with some mongoose. These gunships really did a good job of clearing out the bottom half, which is important whenever you're playing full share. You want to make sure that shut down that map control as quickly as you can. Penetrator now getting some good penetration. And that would be Team 1 now holds control of a good section of the pyramid. Donnie, T1 forces now running into Blazes. Blazes do not have a whole lot of armor whenever you compare them against other T2 mainland units. I think most of the reason you get them is they're a little bit quicker, they have a little bit longer range. I've now started to figure out why people actually make Blazes, because I've started randoming in games more and ended up getting Aeon a lot. And of course, you know, after I finish smashing my head into the desk to, you know, numb all of the to numb all of the nerve endings so that nobody can feel the little sensations. You never start with the head. I have learned that blazes do have their place in the game. Takes a trader like me to figure that out. Although I was forced, I randomed. Mongi's taking it to this T1 spam under cover of a couple of triads. We do have some Wutashalas covering there from Big Bang, and Fueled by Fire I think is going to end up losing this base. Mongi's I don't think are quite enough to deal with the spam, and the point defense now starting to eat into his defenses, as well as the factories. That Hydro is going to go down as well. And that is where Fueled by Fire has elected to put his T2 power generator. Likes to live life on the edge and needs to keep that fire as close as possible to his commander because it's his fuel. But of course, whenever your fuel goes away, it takes all the wind out of your sails. See how many different euphemisms I can squeeze into one cast. As we've got Donnie now pushing up the middle with his gun comm. T1 in support. Do we have T2 in production for him yet? Looks like it's looks like it is done. Okay, so I was missing the little spires. I was like, that looks like it's an upgrade, but no, it's not. So he does have T2 on the field, going for engineers first though, getting his T2 power generator down, which is good. Definitely going to help him in the long run. But penetrator's here now. He's looking to make some penetration. Not seeing any rhinos in the mix. Actually seeing mobile flak, which I guess makes sense after the brutalization that Team 2 has experienced at the hands of legalized smurfing's gunships, but not helping him at all against these obsidians and blazes. Although just the sheer mass of Mantis, seemingly enough to overwhelm, gets a couple of good overcharges. We've got these Asylum shield generators now helping out the obsidian tanks. And that is going to be a Pyrrhic victory, I believe, for Penetrator here. As we actually have Claude the Lizard coming in with his commander. No upgrades on his comm, so working with a la vanilla, no mods. So whether you're one of those players that just likes to play the game as it was meant to be played, or modify your commander, soup it up, give it a turbocharger, Flowmaster exhaust system, intercooler, etc. I don't know a whole lot about cars. I like to think I do. I know a lot about like the basics to keep a car working, because I've been working on this 1995 Corvette that was probably the biggest mistake I've ever made in college. But now we've actually got a Strat coming out, an Ambassador making its way. But anywho, my car experience has been much more keeping the car running than making fun upgrades to it. Let's see where that Strat's gonna head. There are ASF out from INGI, but that's gonna be a pretty good bomb. Gonna take out one of the T2, I think it's only T2 P-Gen actually, as well as a couple of engineers. T3 P-Gen though comes on right in the nick of time, so I don't think it's gonna cause INGI a huge problem. Doesn't need to take out that Strat. Strat going for... Ooh, I think he was a little... Oh, these are T3 mexes. Actually, he was a little off anyway, but does pick up a T2 power generator. I think he was going for 2 mexes and the P-Gen, which would have been an epic Strat bomb, but not quite in the cards. I think now you can potentially see legalized smurfing paying a little bit for his mistake, as he has now yielded a lot of territory to Big Bang, just because he didn't have a whole lot of land production. Still has these gunships bumping around though. They will run into an Ayashava in this mix, so we'll need to be careful, and also don't want to be taking fire from these interceptors. Ayashava opens fire, and I don't think it actually hit anything. as legalized smurfing, actually elected to put his T2 land HQ up front and is working on mongoose of his own. Maybe was there a patch that made mongoose more viable than like mixing in pillars? Because they only have 650 HP, which if you compare that to an Ilsheva has almost 5 times that amount of HP. Doesn't help much though if the Ilsheva just shoots into the ground and dies to Gatling fire. That's the second player I've seen just spam mongoose instead of mixing in some pillars or some parashields, etc. Meanwhile, in the middle, Penetrator getting some very deep penetration here. Does it with shield and gun on his commander. Donnie rushing to throw up some Cerberus point defense, but units already in his base. Cerberus are going to go down. Engineers constructing the other Cerberus also going to go down. Donnie only working with a gun on his commander. It's about the only offensive thing you can do early on with Cybran. Trident is getting up some T1 plasma cannons. Fantastic DPS on T1 point defense as well. Higher than T2 if you're actually interested. But there is a breakout actually from Donnie. And Donnie though dropping very low. Penetrators come unshielded now, taking brick T1 point defense fire as well as Big Bang's commander fire. And I think that both these players go down here. I think Penetrator has just decided that it is worth it to sacrifice himself and just go for a straight trade. 1700 for 1600, not the worst trade in the world. Penetrator drops down below 3000 HP. And that is going to be his eviction from the game as well. Rent's past due. Landlord gave him 3 months to settle up, but wasn't able to bring it home. Which actually that might hit a little too close to home for some people with the way housing prices have been. But let's look at the air players, as land has been pretty important in this game. So we got 3 players left for Team 2, 4 players left for Team number 1. As far as air goes, we're on 2 factories there for 2 Cinders, getting a second factory up for ASF numbers. Let's do that, make sure we get all of them. We're at 14 ASF, and then for not Claude the Lizard, INGI, only at 5. So 2 Cinders definitely, I think, up in this air game right now. It might have been because of that T2 power generator going down might cause more damage than we initially thought. Had to pause production. Is making the transition though to T3 mexes using the Control K and rebuild method. Get his mexes up a little bit quicker. But 2 Cinders actually already all on core T3 mass. So as far as air advantage, you would definitely say that team number 2, at least as far as their rearguard position goes, in the driver's seat. Big Bang also made the transition to T2 air. He's got several Volthus kicking around in the middle of the map, causing problems for Claude le Lizard. Claude the Lizard, actually, it's funny, coming into a game like this, I think I've played with almost every single person in this game, and I've played with them very early on. Claude the Lizard joined one of my very early games whenever I had no idea what I was doing, and I had it set to sandbox. It was a 2v2, and he killed me. I didn't realize I had it set to sandbox. He killed me, and I didn't realize I had it set to sandbox, so I just like took my hands off the keyboard and was like looking around. And it was like 15 minutes later. I guess he never scouted my base or anything. Whenever he was like, "Do you have it set to sandbox?" I like looked and half of my base is still alive, and I was like, "Oh, whoops." Those of you who still join games that I host, as actually these gunships doing doing the Lord's work here for Big Bang. Which is almost a contradiction in terms, because if you believe in the Big Bang, a lot of times you don't necessarily believe, you're not necessarily a Christian. So that's a topic I shouldn't get into. Anywho, legalized smurfing getting in with some stingers, actually. And so gunships actually, maybe not a lot of people know this, but gunships, I forget about it all the time, but gunships can actually shoot other gunships. So if you're getting hit by gunships and you got gunships of your own and your air player is losing, as is the case with IGNI, it's a good little way to deal with it. I'm hearing a siege tank firing somewhere, and it's really, really bugging me. Is it that one? No, that's not that one. Well, it died now. Oh, it was this guy. I think he was firing at a mechs. Team 2 now wrested back a good amount of control from Claude and 2 Cinders, focusing a lot on strat production. Unfortunately, I think that team number 1 are kind of wise to the fact that their air player is a little far behind. You're seeing static AA pop up all over the place, at least for legalized smurfing, who incidentally is on an insane amount of T3 mexes and going for another one here. I think that is going to be his 6th T3 mex. Volthu's straying a little too close to a flayer there. Gonna get filleted like a beautiful fillet. And these Volthus find themselves in a swarm of wasps. Is a flayer actually, is that what you call whenever you make like a filet mignon? I don't know. Maybe meat's on my mind right now. My wife and I yesterday did probably the most Texan thing you can possibly do. In the afternoon, we went to the gun range, and then we went and had barbecue. And then we did probably the least manly thing that I can do, but it's my guilty pleasure, which is come home and watch a bunch of trashy reality TV. That's our guilty pleasure, is watching kind of stupid reality TV shows. And if you're like me and you like trashy reality TV shows, I can recommend almost a lot of Netflix stuff. They do a lot of them, but they're like romance shows like Love is Blind. I think we're watching Ultimatum right now, which is where they take we actually have Trident airlifting his commander. It is with Ras, a Billy, as well as T3. Okay, so mass Billy nuke spam fires off. That's going for Claude's base. And I'm not really seeing any TMD in the mix. You see an SMD. Well, that's not going to work. Oh, there's... Okay, so there was a zapper somewhere in there. I'm not sure if it died. I'm not seeing it. It's one of the downsides of not using the strategic icons mod. It does not, the mods that I do have do not highlight TMD. Highlights everything else, but so anyway, I don't think that it survived. That was a pretty epic Billy nuke. Anyway, in the show Ultimatum, they take like 6 couples that have been together for like 2 years, and somebody in the relationship said, you either need to marry me or I'm walking. And then they just put them through all this like really stupid stuff. They have everybody like swap partners and then decide whether they want to stay with their original partner at the end. It's insane. It's like great if you love watching other people's pain, which I don't know, you guys like watching me and my ladder matches, so you obviously enjoy watching pain to some extent. A T3 land actually out for Claude. And Billy going to take out 3 T3 mexes as well as a couple of T2 factories. And team number 1 now needs to get some TMD up ASAP. We're now seeing a volcano get set up. Getting a nice little net of TMD. Unfortunately, they're all in the wrong spot. And now we have 5 strats inbound from 2 cinders. They're going to have to fly through a lot of ASF as he gets a really bad turn there and exposes a lot of his ASF to enemy fire. Only 3, 4 are going to get their bombs off, and Claude able to get under shield just in the nick of time. Man, that's a failed strat snipe right there. Which, in kind of a full share game like this, you really wouldn't want to be going for snipes like that, because it's just going to end up going to fueled by fire or legalized smurfing or INGI anyway. IGNI. Maybe I keep wanting to say INGI because I keep thinking of bingo. B-I-N-G-O. Alright, so that Billy is taken out. I was going after all of the ASF that IGNI had definitely left in a kind of vulnerable position. Even has a stealth field generator set up too. As far as late game stuff goes, looks like we got an Owasso that's just about to finish up for Big Bang. And I think air control, even after that little snafu, is still with Team 1. Let's do a double check real quick. So that is 21. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. There for 2 cinders. And for IGNI, we actually have 46. Okay, so team number 2 outstripped on the air game as it stands right now. And Owasso is going to finish up, take flight with its weird hover engines, as legalized smurfing making a push with a bunch of Percivals and some Titans on a handful of siege tanks and sniper bots. Decides differently though, and actually goes back in. Let's see if he's going to commit. Is he going to commit? Sort of. He's staying in a weird spot where only one of the Otham's weapons can fire. Otham does have 2 sets of weapons. One's longer range, the other's a little shorter range. Does get a lot of good pickoffs there on siege tanks. Sniper bots, of course, for the Seraphim, able to fire while retreating. Looks like they're way more accurate than my wife and I were with our AR-15s yesterday. As fueled by fire, the lucky beneficiary of the most recent edition of Trident's 3-pronged Billy attack. It's going to be a Monkey Lord that finishes up for Claude. And looking to see, okay, so we do have a chicken coming down for Big Bang. Another Billy goes out there for Trident, who actually would appear that Claude has discovered his existence. All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir. The main exit seems to be the only way in or out. And with that scatter field generator, all other access on this level is restricted. I don't know how much further I can take that particular meme. Alright. We've got Trident going to make it away there. Nice little Billy placement to weed out a lot of the Harbs as well as other units. And then Percivals from Trident as well going to come in and finish up the task. We do have that Monkey Lord, though, storming down on this base. So that little stealth fire base is going to get taken out. And now we've actually got Billy Nuke coming in for legalized smurfing. So Billy Nukes seem to be in style this season. Kim Kardashian, I saw, posted it on her Instagram. Billy Nukes all the rage. Everybody go buy Billy Nukes. And we, like the sheep that we are, beholden to the whims of Instagram influencers, have no choice but to oblige. As Claude, now with a cloud of Corsairs coming in on Trident. Trident with that T3 upgrade Actually gets some good shelter back behind that ridge. And Big Bang gets a great position on his interceptors. That with, I believe there was a mobile flak in here somewhere. Takes out a good portion of those Corsairs as we have another air battle coming in down here. Last I saw, 2 Cinders was down, but he seems to be getting all the right turns here on IGNI. And that is going to be an air crush there for team number 2. Pretty happy about that one. Billy Nuke inbound. It's from Legalized Smurfing. His new shopping spree is influenced by the Instagram influencers. And Fueled by Fire actually going aggressive here with some Titans as well. We'll see what kind of damage this Billy does. As that is going straight in for this secondary base there for Big Bang. That's going to take out a lot of important stuff. And noob camera control as I was trying to get up here. The Owasso getting chased down by some ASF. The Owasso does have decent AA. It's not fantastic, but it is decent. It's decent enough to hold off a couple of ASF. And IGNI going to sacrifice what's left of his ASFs futilely there. Okay, now that Billy, I'm not sure where that Billy was intended for. I think there's a next right there or something, which seems to be overkill for a Billy. A chicken is shooting at something. Where is this chicken? Okay, we got a chicken up here. Got lots happening right now. Titans, as well as a Monkey Lord from Claude Le Lizard and Fueled by Fire, seem to be in a position to head it off. The monkey, though, is damaged. That chicken is nearly full health. So that monkey is going to need some assistance. And Fueled by Fire actually pulling back. Might not be the best idea there. Claude's going to go ahead and march his monkey in, do what damage it can, which really wasn't that much. As we now have an Owasso coming in on Legalized Smurfing, but there's so many static AA in the vicinity. That Owasso might end up going down. Nope, escapes with just the skin of its teeth. Meanwhile, in the middle, 2 Cinders appears to have taken another air engagement against IGNI. But again, so much static AA that it's difficult for them to get full air superiority and park some experimentals over their bases. They're going to need a lot of experimentals to survive that. As the chicken walking itself in runs into a megalith there from Claude. Recently minted megalith. Big Bang finishes another experimental unit. That chicken is going to run like the chicken it is. We do have another experimental chicken done, and that Owasso still on very low HP. Might be control K-ing that and rebuilding. Or you might just let it heal. Might just let it chill for a bit. Or use it in the most dire circumstances. It is to be taken to the Citadel, put deep in a vault, not to be used. So Gondor's need is most dire. Alright. What's funny is so much happened, but I don't really think any ground was necessarily gained by either team. We do have this juicy little monkey wreck here. Big Bang trying to capitalize for that, but not going to be able to with the megalith right there, as well as these Titans. Those poor little engineers. Going to get massacred. And Big Bang actually trying to walk the chicken in on Legalized Smurfing's base, but Legalized Smurfing is now spammed up what can only be described as a massive amount of Ravagers, 12 to be exact, in case you were curious. And that actually took the chicken down very low. So we've got 2 chickens now, both playing chicken with Legalized Smurfing's base and Claude Le Lizard's megalith. Billy now inbound on the mega. See if that make it past the pyramid. Yep, it will. And that's going to do a small amount of damage to the megalith. Alright, I guess if you've got it, you might as well use it. He's got rover drones that are assisting him too. He likes these stealth field generators. Fueled by Fire's Titans. Losing an argument there with the Cliff. Cliffs can be so very obstinate and stubborn. That is another Billy coming in on Big Bang's base. There is TMD here. 2 TMD. Therefore, Big Bang's tertiary base. So that shouldn't... Oh, but one of them gets taken out by a strat. Lovely timing. See if this ends up impacting. Yep, it does. Lovely timing there. I'm not sure if they coordinated that little strat run on the TMD, like right as it was coming in for maximum viewing potential and caster excitement. Not sure if they did or not. Either way, thank you all. It's always fun. Alright, so here's what I think needs to happen with these 2 air players. I think that they need to decide who's going to play air, and one person can, you know, if, for instance, IGNI decides, you know, I'm going to be the air player, Claude can still make air, but I think needs to give it to IGNI. So I don't think that having 2 air players, one weaker than the other against one that's against another that is very far ahead is going to work here. Because you can find yourself, individual air forces can get caught out, and it's just a bad time all around. Yeah, the nice thing about the Billy is it does reduce the amount of reclaim as well. Speaking of Billy, Legalized Smurfing is having a 2-for-1 deal today. 2 Billies for the price of 1. Let's see if this TMD... Okay, so that is 2 TMD up. That one should not impact. Right? Oh, it's 3. What? How many shots do you need from a TMD to take out a Billy nuke? I thought it was 4. Is it 4? And that was only 3? I'm blanking. Answers in the comments. I've completely forgotten. But either way, Billy nukes seem to be the way both teams are going here. Nobody wants to go for a regular nuke. Everybody's got SMD. Got SMD there for Claude. And by everybody, I mean one person on team number 1. As long as you don't examine what I say too closely, I do actually sound like a genius. And we do have an SMD here for Big Bang. But the topic of discussion right now are the 4 chickens that are now storming their way up the middle versus 1 megalith. Even chickens shouldn't be cowardly enough to gangbang a megalith like that. Strats, though, in from Legalized Smurfing, who's also made the jump to T3 air. So that's 3 T3 air players for team number 1 as an air battle ensues over the top. And man, 2 Cinders getting really good turns in these air engagements. Taking out IGNI, and then Claude's weaker air force not able to really move the knob, although Claude also playing double duty here and is going to lose all of his air. Strats are going to go down. That's the 2nd chicken going down, so we got 2 chickens left as they storm into the base. You have Ravagers coming up here from Fueled by Fire. A couple of Cerberus. I think this guy's gonna part ways. Chickens have now decided to meet their fate head on. Base is gonna go down. That chicken is gonna go down. So many little micro nuclear explosions right now. No comms actually getting killed, but Rascoms, Billy nukes, everything that you can imagine as gunships now being brought in from Legalized Smurfing, still using those singers to great effect. And Big Bang needs to get something done, I think, as far as damage to Claude's base here. But he's focusing on the megalith right now. Has no hope of killing that. Is going to walk it in though. Ion Storm might pick off a couple of buildings. So we have another Billy nuke getting fired off. Somebody else had a Billy. Hello, 2 Oasis. And Fueled by Fire seems to be on the menu. Actually, maybe not. Looks like they appear to be going after IGNI. Maybe first one takes out the shield, second one takes out the comm, and boom, baby. ING. It is INGI. What the? Okay. That's it. The cast is worthless now. Gotta start it over. No, I'm just kidding. Not gonna do that. But Claude now actually next. And he's gonna go down too. Great Owasso play there from Big Bang. Putting those bases to use. So that means we've got a 2v3 now. As Legalized Smurfing, of course he's from OGW. Fueled by Fire are the two remaining players for team number 1. While Big Bang, Two Cinders, and Trident, the remaining players for team number 2. Well, I gotta say, it looks like this is team 2's game to lose now. As Legalized Smurfing his massive amount of T3 air, Two Cinders just parking all of his wasps in the wrong spot. Though I guess it doesn't really matter because they've already won air, but got a ton of strat bombs coming in now. And a lot of them going to get their bombs away. That's only one T3 power generator, and he is around... But that's only one T3 shield. He's around a lot of P-gens. They're going to go off map. That means that they will almost assuredly get a second pass here. And is that going to be enough? Shield generator goes up just enough. I think that was the last bomb. Two Cinders goes down to Legalized Smurfing. So now we level the playing field 2-2. Legalized Smurfing and Big Bang, arguably the MVPs for their particular teams right now. Claude played really well as well. I think I've talked about this in the past, but English is such a confusing language. Claude played really well as well. 2 words. They both mean drastically different things. Actually, it's the same word, and they mean different things. That's why it's a terrible language. It's because even a genius like myself can't even speak it. As Legalized Smurfing actually electing to swap his Billy out for shield upgrade, which you can't really blame him with how many Owassos are kicking around and the several air snipes that have already taken place. But I'm not sure where any of the ASFs... Okay, there they are. ASFs here in the middle. So Two Cinders does still have... or no, not Two Cinders. Big Bang still has a decent-sized Air Force here. And he's got 2 Owassos. So should be able to deal with strats if he sees them soon enough. Fueled by Fire up here in the northern corner does have a Fat Boy up. And there is just a ton of reclaim. All on the screen right now, we've got 317,000 reclaim that can be taken by either Legalized Smurfing or Fueled by Fire. And at that point, it's really more of a power issue as they go for the snipe. They go for the snipe now on Trident. Trident does not have shield, but does a pretty good job of dodging. And Big Bang able to eviscerate all those strats. Trident will live to fight another day. It just immediately becomes spamming up T2 power or T2 shields around his commander. I can't say I blame them. That is now Fueled by Fire expanding out with some of his Rascoms. Running into some siege tanks. Fat Boy should be able to help though. More strat bombs hitting Trident's Percival army. And now Trident actually using his Billy Nuke to take out all the static defenses. Does Fueled by Fire lose his Fat Boy? No, he shouldn't lose his Fat Boy here, right? 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 Right, yeah, of course he doesn't lose his Fat Boy. I knew that all along. I knew that all along. Alright. 3 Owassos now coming in for Legalized Smurfing. He has what can only be described as more flayers than you would ever need to flay anything, except for maybe this number of Owassos. Where are these guys at? Okay, so one of them's very critically damaged. One very healthy, the other in the yellow. It's gonna be the first one going down, but he does get his bomb away. Legalized smurfing, shield down. Well into the yellow, so down to 7k HP. Owasa's both in the yellow. Gonna try and get another shield generator up. Gets one up just in the nick of time. Oh boy! He's down to 1100 HP. Needs to get those flares. Oh man, okay. Wow. That was close. For legalized smurfing there. That shield generator saved him in just the nick of time. And I saw a nuke done soon from somebody, and that would be right here. We've got a Stonager. Actually, the nuke is just now completed, and it is firing, so finally we have like a real nuclear weapon on any of this like water gun Billy Nuke kitty shit. That's going after legalized smurfing. Legalized smurfing needs to run. But I don't think he thinks the nuke is coming for him. This is a very spiteful nuke if I've ever seen one. You're definitely just going after the player instead of any of the infrastructure back here that was vulnerable. But legalized smurfing is going to go down, and that means that Fueled by Fire is the only remaining member of team number 1. Now, he did inherit a hell of a lot of infrastructure. He's sitting at 966 mass, unable to spend it. I can't blame him at all. 1200 rated player. I hover between 11 and 1300, and this would overwhelm me. Matter of fact, if you want to see a full share where I just like vapor lock and can't do anything except for lose the game, Willow did a replay review of mine where I was playing up against the Zeros, so go check that one out. And while I'm plugging other content, if you're still here, I am hosting a tournament. If you didn't catch that video, it's on my channel. Details are in both the forum post. I do hit the highlights in the video, but check out the forum post for the ins and outs of the rules and everything, and I hope to see you all there. It's a $400 total prize pool. I've had several people actually reach out to me to donate to increase the prize pool past $400, which is fantastic. So yeah, I hope to see everybody there. As Fueled by Fire's Fat Boy now getting caught out by Voltus, I don't think Fueled by Fire has T3 air anywhere. He is going to T3 air on this HQ. He's actually going for another Fat Boy here. That first Fat Boy should go down. Billy Nuke now exploding. Fueled by Fire actually resorting to shields to shield his static defenses. And that Awasa gonna help finish off that Fat Boy, I think, right? Is Big Bang gonna let it survive? Really? Nah, he wants to see another Big Bang. Big Bang wants more Big Bangs. He's gonna make a Fat Boy go Big Bang. Well, not Big Bang, but Medium Bang. Big Bang wanted Medium Bang out of the Fat Boy. Now we have a ton of siege tanks. By a ton, I mean 10. Working their way into Fueled by Fire's base. They're going to meet with a withering amount of Ravager Fire, though, as well as a Fat Boy. It's going to be some more Reclaim deposit on Fueled by Fire's doorstep. Although I don't think Fueled by Fire knows what to do with the amount of Reclaim that he already has. Still 200 and some odd thousand Reclaim on their side of the map. 250 some odd Reclaim. 250,000, not 250. $250 would be like whenever your dad gives you like a dime. It's like, don't spend it all in one place. Haha, haha. Dad jokes. Alright, so Trident. What is Trident doing? Trident's upgrading something. He's paused on it right now. And what is Big Bang? Big Bang wants more Big Bang from the Awasas. But Trident's going to actually one-up Big Bang with Bigger Bang. So we have, I guess, Medium Bang and Big Bang. And this is Bigger Bang. Fueled by Fire actually going for a Mavor. That is optimistic, good sir. Does have his SMD loaded though, so that's good at least. Not going to lose the Mavor. That is not very far along on its construction. Is he still floating mass? He's still floating mass. He's building a Mavor. He's still floating plus 200. Just goes to show you how truly overwhelming inheriting all this infrastructure can be. And he hasn't even like gone for any of the reclaim or rebuilt the bases, anything like that. Just everything in him is trying to stay alive right now. Although I think we know how Big Bang wants to finish this game. He wants to finish it with a Big Bang. And yes, I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of this pun. So we got our third Awasa coming in. But, I mean, if the Mavor completes, and pigs fly, fueled by fire, might have enough fire for his fuel. But as it is, I think that these Awasas, which are now on the move, they've identified the fat boy, and these Awasas are not woke and do believe in body shaming apparently. As they come around for another pass. I think Fueled by Fire was trying to destroy the reclaim there, which is a very mature thing to do. It's like, if I can't have it, you can't have it either. So there, haha. I'll actually bump the speed up a little bit while the teams try and decide what they want to do, as things have kind of come to a little bit of a stalemate here. Fueled by Fire working on his Mavor, which is actually going up pretty damn quick. That's over 25% of the way there in only a couple minutes. But Billy Nukes now targeting all of the Flayer installation, or the Myrmidon installations, apologies, that Fueled by Fire has set up systematically, appearing to plow the road for Big Bang, who is now scrambling the Awasas. He's decided that Fueled by Fire's ass needs a good washing. He's got 4 ass washers to do it. Bring that back down to 0 speed. There's still a ton of static AA in here. Fueled by Fire's commander right here under 3, 4, 5, 6 Tech 3 shield generators. The first Awasa going to crash actually and take out the Mavor. I think that is going to be it for Fueled by Fire's dreams in this game, as it would appear that his SMD has also gone down. This Awasa going to get one last bomb off. I think that's going to be it for Fueled by Fire. This Big Bang ends the game with a Big Bang. Big Trident actually nuked Big Bang. Team killing, please report. Alrighty. Well, hope you guys enjoyed it. As a reminder, I am hosting a tournament. Go ahead and hit up that video or the forum post. It's on the FAF forums under tournaments. All the details on how to register are in both the video and in that forum post. So if y'all are interested in playing, $400 prize pool that seems to be growing. So go ahead and register, and hope to see y'all there. With that, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.